A few months back, I was giving a talk in Texas to around 2,000 high school students about porn and many of the myths we tend to believe about it. Now, after the talk, I got a question from a guy who raises his hand and he says, all right, what about anime porn? No live actors, so that's got to be okay, right? The porn he was referring to is known as hentai, which is the Western label given to anime pornography. Hentai, is derived from the Japanese word for perverted. Over the last generation, hentai has become some of the most popular porn in the world. And in fact, we know that cartoon porn is currently among the most searched niches on the porn for certain devices. So what do we say about this? Is cartoon porn more ethical because it doesn't actually have live actors? First, I think we ought to agree that obviously not all forms of porn are equally bad. There's a spectrum here, right? I mean, your typical Playboy centerfold is obviously less bad than child porn. But here's what we need to keep in mind. Less bad doesn't mean good. Smoking a carton of cigarettes a day is obviously less bad than smoking 10 cartons a day, but that doesn't make smoking 1 carton healthy. So let me give 3 reasons why I think hentai pornography is still really bad for you and society. I talk more at length about these in an upcoming book that I'm writing with Ignatius Press, so stay tuned for that. But first, anime porn is infused with the same messages and values as live action porn. The message of both is the same, right? It's all about the degradation and objectification of women for the masturbatory pleasure of men. The female figure portrayed is nothing more than an object for male pleasure. Women are still portrayed as powerless, right? Either powerless over male advances or powerless over their own sexual drive that compels them to be used as objects. Anime porn is marketed and sold with the same false messaging as its live action counterpart. Secondly, anime porn is just as addictive as live porn, right? Addiction to porn, any kind of porn, is known by the American Society of Addiction Medicine as a behavioral addiction, where someone is pathologically pursuing neurological rewards their brain gives them when they engage in certain pleasurable behaviors. So all kinds of porn addiction, regardless of whether the actors on the screen are filmed or drawn, are harmful to us because they warp our normal sex drive into something unhealthy, something compulsive. So while porn might feel pleasurable, in the end, porn is really the enemy of true sexual satisfaction. Third, I'd want to say that anime porn is, in some sense, worse in what it conveys than non-animated porn because the characters are completely malleable. Artists can make the characters look exactly the way they want, right? So every fetish can be fulfilled, no matter how unreal, no matter how bizarre. Artists and consumers can pleasure themselves to any kinds of abuse, dulling their consciences in the process. They can just tell themselves, look, no one's really getting hurt. Because the films are animated, this has a disarming effect on the viewer. The viewer doesn't have to have compassion or empathy for this character because she isn't real. She's just a lifeless scribbling of ink. Hentai pornography is known for showing the gross mistreatment of women through horrific acts of bestiality and even images of children having sex. And yet many people, like that guy I mentioned at my talk, almost congratulate themselves for watching it because there's no live actors. Look, don't be fooled. All porn, including animated porn, is an enemy to love, healthy relationships, and sexual satisfaction.